Good morning, everybody. It is August 2nd, 2020. Happy Monday to you. Hope you have something in store for August that's slightly different from what we've experienced ever since March, but who knows? I do want to detail something that I saw on the 31st of July, which was a press conference with the White House Press Secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, who lies all the time. I used to watch her on like Bill Maher and other stuff, and she was pretty dense, pretty active drinking the Kool-Aid, and now she has ruined her career forever by lying for the president. So yeah, it's fun to watch her go down in flames. Same with Meadows, who is the acting chief of staff, who during the press conference came out and blamed the Democrats for us not having an extension of unemployment. It was laughable, it was embarrassing, and it was another grand example of lack of governance from our current leaders. They are not governors. They don't belong in government. They are grifters. They're here to make money. Meadows already got $40,000 in expenses paid this year. So to have him come out and just to play the blame game while all of us are going to be hurting. I applied for my unemployment this week. It's only going to be 200-something bucks. I'm not getting the $600 plus up. So that goes to groceries every week. So I don't have to dip into my savings, but now I probably have to dip into my savings to cover some bills, unless this gets resolved. But the reason why I wanted to detail this further is because I brought charts. Take a look at this. Thanks to New York Times. So, back in March, the United States Congress and Senate agreed to a measure that was the largest movement of wealth ever. It was the largest upward movement of wealth ever, the largest transfer of wealth ever. And in that program, there was a lot of small business aid, which I qualified for $250. Stephen Miller, who writes speeches for the president and who is an evil racist, he got $1 million because his parents claimed that he was part of a business and therefore they got $1 million. Kanye West got a bunch of money. Ruth Chris got a bunch of money. All of these small business, quote unquote, small businesses. No, it was businesses that had a crack lawyer and tax account team that knew all the loopholes to this, applied for the money, and got the money. Well, that money's run out. I used my $250 to pay half of a contractor. And I even, can you send proof of that? Yeah, here's the invoice. Didn't even cover, it covered half of it, if that. So that's how the first program worked. And yeah, we were all hurting, we were all scared, but I'm so very disappointed still with Bernie Sanders and AOC and the rest of the progressive arm of our government because they voted yes for this package, where they could have held out and created something better. People were hurting, but this was the one chance for progressives to say no, they didn't, and we're going to pay the consequences. So here we are months later, and I put up this chart because it shows you what the Republican plan is, and they haven't even agreed to this plan. We have your small business aid at $200 billion, other measures, who knows what that is. Business tax breaks, give me a break. Stimulus check, okay. Healthcare. If Republicans took healthcare seriously, we wouldn't be in this mess. And no, if Republicans and corporate Democrats took healthcare seriously, we wouldn't be in this mess. Unemployment benefits, state and local aid, safety net, and tax cuts. All right, so there's the breakdown. Stimulus checks and small business aid seem to be the largest. But these tax breaks and whatnot are not getting money into the people's laps where it needs to go. So look at the Democratic plan. The Democratic plan was passed by the Democrats months ago. No more aid for small businesses. All right, businesses are not going to be opened up. The money needs to go into the owners and the employees' laps, not through the business. Other measures, a lot from the Democrats. Business tax break, no. We're going to reduce that. Stimulus checks, improve, increase, yes. Get the money into the people's hands. Healthcare, yes. People are dying. Over 150,000 Americans dead. Unemployment benefits, yes. Expand them through the entire year or even into quarter 21. Take away this anxiety and you will have a more docile nation that is willing to stay home and fight this virus. Instead, you have a lot of people, I would say the majority of the United States citizenry is panicked financially. Maybe not tomorrow or Friday, but when the bills due at the midpoint of the month or the end of this month, I mean, that's the fear setting in now. State and local aid from the Democrats, a lot, because states need help. Safety net and other taxes, a good chunk. So the Democrats have put together this $3.4 trillion plan. The Republicans still have not agreed upon their plan. And they had the same amount of time. They've had all this time. And they can't come to an agreement. And then during a press conference from the White House, the chief of staff says, oh, it's the Democrats' fault that we can't come to an agreement. It's the Democrats' fault that they didn't want to extend the unemployment benefit. Yeah, they didn't want to extend the unemployment benefit for another week while the Republicans kowtow and try to figure out what to do while people are dying. So this was the one moment where I wanted to detail the clear difference. And I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. I will never join a political party. Maybe perhaps the People's Party. But other than that, no. I'm not going to be a part of either one of these institutions that are inherently evil and are part of the evil system. But this shows you the difference. The Democrats have the plan ready to go. There didn't need to be a skip, a lapse in these benefits for the American people that have paid their taxes to receive these benefits. But the Republicans, who don't care about blue states. There's news coming out now that Jared Kushner, the whiz kid, the one who seems to be in charge of a lot of this crap because his father-in-law is more about manipulating the media and getting the media on their side and riling up the base, while the rest of these grifters are trying to make as much money as possible. There are talks, there are rumors, there are articles with headlines that say Jared Kushner decided not to enact a federal plan, a plan that a lot of people put a lot of hard work into, that would fund and test and share so much information that we could wrangle this using expertise that South Korea had even patented. But no, instead, there was a decision made that they would not help anybody affected by the coronavirus because the coronavirus would affect the blue states more than the red states, which would be better politically in the end for Donald Trump and his administration. Now, I can't claim that that's true, but there are sources saying that that's what happened, and I wouldn't put it past them. Of course I wouldn't put it past them. Folks, we are living in a country, the United States of America, that doesn't care about their veterans. I have done multiple charity events from home. The latest one was to take care of our veterans. There shouldn't be a single charity event necessary for veterans. They should be taken care of for the rest of their lives, but we don't do it. We don't do it. There should be a healthcare plan that makes sense, fiscally responsible. Isn't that what conservatism is all about? To conserve the funds, not to have these crazy, government programs that go outlandish. Okay, I get that. I have all this fat that taxpayers are paying for. Sure, that can be a problem. I'm all for unions, and I've been in unions before, and I've seen the corruption in unions as well. And there's a great way to fight the corruption of unions. The same way we fight corruption in government. The people get together and say we're over this bullshit, and we use our vote. Now, the vote is in jeopardy. And this is even scarier, folks. The United States government has never delayed a vote and never will, never should. The fact that the president floated the idea on Twitter, as somebody mentioned in an interview, in an interview, she said that Twitter is like the bathroom stall of the world where people can just write anything. And you know what? That's kind of true. When I use Twitter, usually nowadays it's to promote my stuff. So if Twitter didn't exist and I felt like vandalizing a bathroom stall, I would probably be like, yo, check out this YouTube channel. For a good time, go here. No, because I'd feel bad about the custodian that has to clean all that crap up. So use a sticky note. Way easier, less permanent. So this entire system that these grifters have taken over shows that it can't survive a certain level of corruption. And this corruption didn't just creep in from this election. It wasn't just Trump, which we're all tired of talking about, but this system is what prompted up Trump. It was the white lash after the Obama administration, who I think is a good man and was a good president, but not a great president. Unfortunately, President Obama chose people in his cabinet that were for Wall Street above anything else. And when the 2008 crash happened, and he inherited quite a mess, and that was completely unfair and holy crap. But he knows what governance is and govern their way through it. And he had to take a lot of crap from a lot of people. But I really wish that President Obama would not have bailed out these companies. These companies should have died. The investors and the investor class would have disappeared in many respects, and the employees would have taken over the companies, and we would have had a better spreading of the wealth. Hindsight 2020, of course, but because of those actions in 2008, we were living in a pipe dream of an economy floated on low interest rates and loans. And each of these jobs and opportunities that so many Americans had enjoyed or had seen their parents enjoy or had seen the loyalty they had toward the companies that they worked towards was completely annihilated. Pensions gone. Loyalty doesn't matter. We're moving your job to a different country so we can pay them less money and make sell the product for the same amount of money but make more money so our investors can make more money. These corporations would continually care about their bottom line, more about the people that were able to achieve their business dominance in the sector. That's why I get very upset when somebody says, oh, Jeff Bezos deserves to have all of his money. Like what Sean Hannity said. It was such a funny handoff. Tucker Carlson was talking about how we got to better tax the rich, and there shouldn't be people like Jeff Bezos with this much money. And he hands it off to Sean Hannity, and Sean Hannity says, oh, you know, it's okay. If a guy makes one service and it does well, he should get as much money as possible. No, because it takes a lot of people to make that service as big as it is. It takes roads, trucks, gas, all sorts of resources, not just human resources, but all sorts of other resources that are on the outside. You know, people that pave roads don't work directly for Amazon, but the taxes that Amazon should be paying would fill the potholes in a lot of these roads. Jeff Bezos' wealth should not exist. That is a failure of the system. His wife, who just gave away his ex-wife, I should say, who just gave away $1.4 billion, was a headline. She shouldn't have that much money, and we shouldn't have to rely on the philanthropy of the rich to survive. That is how broken this system is. So I wanted to keep this chart up to detail that for you for a little while, folks. That is the difference right now. The Republicans can't govern. The Democrats, I mean, they do have their issues, but they are leading the charge, and they are sticking to their guns. And I'm glad that Nancy Pelosi, who shouldn't be in power anymore, she's done some great things, but she is nobody that has that much ice cream in their freezer should hold any political office. They are she's a fundraiser today. I mean, she's helped pass legislation, especially with the Obamacare, which is great, but I don't trust Nancy Pelosi, especially with her attitude on healthcare for all. So that's where we're at, folks. I wanted to share that with you because it's very, very frustrating, but it's very apparent. It's very apparent how tribal and broken this system is when all of us are now going to be hurting because the Republicans can't get their act together in this moment. I'm sure somebody else could showcase a moment where the Democrats didn't have their stuff together. Sure, okay. But to the detriment of this many people, where lives are on the line, where some fathers out there have to decide, am I going to go out and do my former painting job and make the same amount of money before, which was not enough at all, and now I have to worry about sickness, this virus that we still don't know 100% what's in it and what it does. Even in there's talk of a vaccine, but even if a vaccine hits clinical trials, there's still 4 to 6 to 8 months to test the antibodies afterwards, because some of these vaccines, many vaccines, when they're first created, have to go through these trials because the proteins won't last as long as they should. So you'll have the vaccine, you'll be fine for like a month or two, and then the vaccine's not going to work anymore. Maybe not a month, maybe not that long. So they have to test this vaccine and on people to make sure the proteins hold up so the vaccine will be functional. The proteins have to build within the bone marrow. This was a vaccine doctor was discussing on Rolling Stone's podcast, Useful Idiots. So make sure to check them out. Very, very frustrating. All right, so we'll see what happens this upcoming week, but I hope the Democrats stick to their guns. They have a plan that's comprehensive. It's $3.4 trillion, but that's a package that we need right now. We need to stabilize, especially if this thing's going to come back. All right, some Mortal Kombat tournaments happening out there. I know I haven't been covering any Mortal Kombat stuff because I've been busy working on the house. My current plan for this month is to jump right back into my diet. I've been doing good on my fitness, yoga and working out and stuff. My diet's been crap. This last week, I did a world tour of Uber Eats, thinking that, all right, well, if the world's going to end, I want to know what Dairy Queen tastes like one more time. And when I get done eating it, I'm like, the taste was good, but my body's going to hate me. The taste was good, but my body's going to hate me. And I did that for about three days. Overate, kind of like, binge eating. Trying to put that anxiety somewhere. And it's terrible. Feel like shit. You have to work your way out of it. You're like, what am I doing? I feel like crap. I'm bloated. I shouldn't be doing this. Time to get back on the oats and brown rice. So yesterday, outside of buying some almond milk ice cream, because it's been so hot, I don't want to have dairy, but I want to have something that's cold. That and some bubbly black cherry water. That's it, and some pasta. So today it's just pasta, a power bar, some water, and then come Tuesday, I'll probably jump back on my meal plan and go for the whole month of August, work out every day, and get fit. There's one more thing I wanted to add, and this is something that Bill Maher, who I've had my qualms with, he's getting older and dumber, but I'd take over his show in a heartbeat. I'm kind of one of those young whippersnapper kids. It's like, you know what I can do is show better. I know I could. He's an amazing performer. He's an amazing stand-up comedian, but he has lost his touch when it comes to the progressive movement. But anybody at his age that's seen so much shit, I could imagine being worthy of being that cynical. Anyways, still watch Bill Maher. And in his end monologue, he said that the number one thing that doctors should be telling Americans is stop being fat. And that's 100% true. It's 100% true. The first time I left the United States of America, I went to England, and I noticed, oh my gosh, everybody is so thin. Well, I shouldn't say thin. They are normal. And then over here, you have people like, oh, body positive, body positive. You know what? Fuck you. If you're fat, you have a problem. Doesn't mean you're less of a person. It means you're more of a person. But you have an issue. It's not normal. It's not healthy. It's not good. Should you be made fun of it? No, that's not good either, because hurting somebody's feelings is just going to make them want to eat more if they're stuck in this route. It's positive encouragement, but the number one thing I can do is just be in shape myself. I hate the feeling of feeling fat. I even feel the love handles I have right now from frickin' ice cream I ate 2 days ago, and I hate that feeling. So I cannot understand why anybody would want to indulge further than this, but everybody's different. That is the number one thing that's plaguing us, folks. It's being obese. It's being overweight. If you have a problem, you got to work on it, or you're going to hate your life as you get older. And you're going to realize, oh, I have all these complicated issues because of years of disdain for my body. We only get one body, and this is it. I don't even understand why it's such a issue in our country when people's feelings are hurt because they're fat. Yeah. If your feelings are hurt because you are having a problem with your weight, then your weight is not the problem. It's something else. Just like with drugs, alcohol addiction, it's not the substance that's the issue. It's something else. So for me, it was my anxiety of this world, of knowing that I may have to arm myself. I may have to take a life or lives if it gets down to fisticuffs or a civil war, and I am prepared to do that. I took my oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that oath lives with me forever. And there are way more enemies to the Constitution that are domestic than foreign. So amongst all these thoughts and scary times of repeating history, definitely jumping into food and binging has been a comfort, but it's no longer a comfort when you start to digest. It's sitting in your body and you feel like crap. So if you're like me, resist that urge. Grab a calorie-free, bubbly water to at least have something to taste and something moving around in your stomach, because that's what it mostly is. I want to taste something. I'm high as fuck, and I want to taste something so I feel better. But then every time I eat it and goes down my gullet, my stomach's like, dude, stop. You're full. But I just give up with reckless abandon. And I keep going and I keep eating. I feel like crap. But then I do it the next day. So I understand how you can get to that point. But stop yourself after day 3. Stop yourself after the first pint of ice cream. That is the war. After coronavirus is gone, if you want to prepare yourself to face the next virus, or if it coming back or whatever, get in shape. Do it. This quarantine 15 is bullshit. I know it's tough. But if you can stay at home and do push-ups, you can lose some weight. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox rant now about that stuff, but that's what's been plaguing me in my mind the last couple days. Be informed. Try to be informed as much as possible with your local government. I still need to get better at that. Update when it comes to improving our back alley. Some of the neighbors said no. Some neighbors decided they didn't even want to talk to me. So my neighbor next to me was concerned. He's like, I want to put up some sort of deterrent for these people that want to walk down our alley. And I said, all right, well, I have all the paperwork. I have all the contact information, and we've talked to all the neighbors. As soon as something happens, we have another SUV that rolls through, drops off garbage that I have to check to make sure it's not human remains, or we have another loiterer that's at the edge of the alley just sitting there doing nothing that's caught on camera, or something worse. Heaven forbid it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened yet. Then we take that evidence, we take that scenario, and we bring it all to the neighbors. Go, we're doing this. Don't care if you're on board or not. Here's your padlock key. This is happening. Just some people don't care about the world around them. They just don't. Some of these people are so old, they're just working on their yard until they die. Is that really a great government? Is that really a great country? Where the elders, the boomer generation is the worst generation this planet's ever seen, but the elders of the boomer generation have been discarded and put in nursing homes, or they turned out to be horrible people that have given up on the world in the younger generation and are cynical and mean and are just ready to die. That sucks. Looking at different cultures in history, when you don't respect your elders and the elders don't respect back, or the elders don't respect you in the first place, you're having a massive issue within that society. And that's why the burden is falling so much on the millennials, because the boomers didn't address the problems. They wanted to make money and get rich, and they inherited a world to get rich, and they didn't take care of the problems. And now all the problems with the Gen Xers are like, we're not getting involved with this. So all the problems have now fallen on the millennials, who are angry. Meanwhile, the Gen Zers, who are the sons and daughters of Gen X, they're in a place of darkness. They understand their fate, and so they're just trying to do what they can on all the social medias to make money and make those memes. Positive notes. Well, weather-wise, we're doing okay up here. Might have some rain this week, but it's going to be a hot one on Wednesday. and may do some more bike riding. It's been fun to have a bike, ride around the neighborhood, and just get to know the place better. You get to experience the world better when you're not in a car, when you're out on a bike. I still got to look over my shoulder left and right, because I've been hit on a bike before of drivers not paying attention. And it's unfortunate. Not too bad. Just clipped and had to tuck and roll. And lady got out of the van. Are you okay? It's like, lady, you have to know how to drive. I got on my bike and sped off. Okay, folks, thanks so much for indulging my musings this Monday morning. Things are tough. They're tough for me. I'm sure they're tough for you. The hope is they'll get better, but hope is not a strategy. Work for them to get better. And if you don't even know what to do right now and you got a little bit of money, save it. Save that money. Buy canned goods. Live off vegetables. Do the best you can. And we'll see what this fall brings. I will see you online.